Phenomena. Phenomena. Phenomena.
So, welcome to another Brewster podcast. I don't know. Yes, by the music that we're listening to, that I am talking to Randy Wiegand, who is coming to us now from. He says it's Manama, but I'm still going to pronounce it Manama. Maybe. Bahrain.
Home of the Pearls. Home of the Pearls.
Right, home of the Pearls. And we decided, just kind of spur of the moment here, to maybe do a little bit of a review of the season, talk about maybe some surprises and maybe some of the trades, and then look at the playoffs coming up here since we're just about there. So welcome, Randy, again. Thanks for helping me out on short notice.
No worries. It's true. We are now truly a worldwide podcast.
Yeah, that's kind of, well, right. We were worldwide before. We just can't get Nigel on a podcast. Well, we haven't tried really hard, but time zones. This is actually easier. Like, you're offset enough that it's just morning for me when it's night for you. So that's really
it is. It is 8 p.m. here. I am 9 hours ahead of everybody in the central time zone.
So it's legitimate, though, then, for you to be drinking something, then, right?
Well, if they sold anything besides non-alcoholic beer outside base, sure.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Well, I mean, you could get it in restaurants, but I have yet to find a convenience store that sells beer.
I'm saddened for you. I am drinking. It doesn't matter to me that it's 11 a.m. I had my first beer with breakfast this morning. And,
Hey, Sunday's a good day. I can tell you, I've been through it. Sunday is a good day.
I'm having the Urban Chestnut, which is a brewery in St. Louis, Zwickel. It's pretty good. Zwickels are a subtype of, I guess, I don't know how to say Keller beer. It translates to cellar beer. It's a type of beer that was made in cellars. It's kind of, cold yeast. It's not really that filtered that much. Not pasteurized.
Cellars,
What's up?
so it was made in cellars, so it's coming direct from Des Moines?
Correct. Yes. She be mean to the Colonels already. But I don't know. There's a thing where they leave the bung out of the plug out of the bung hole. It's a little less carbonated, and then they put it in like right at the end, so it maintains a little bit. And the Zwickel is a variety of it that's not very hoppy, which is right up my alley.
I was gonna say, I know you're not a hop guy, so.
So that's beer snobbery with Ted Schmidt. Anyway, it's a Bavarian lager. It's a little sweet, not tremendously, but a little bit maybe sweet. And the hop edge is kind of minimal. And this one, some of them are hoppier, but this one's not. That's why I like it. So seasons, the season thoughts. Any big overarching thoughts you've had about this year?
I'm happy Edmonton's good. We've been saying they were going to be good for how long, and they finally are.
Are you surprised at all at how good? Like, that it was just like a light switch being flipped on, or is this what should have happened a couple of years ago, and it just didn't? Or do you think this is maybe a little lucky that it worked out so well, or is this all just Robillard just being a beast, as Fred said he would be?
I'm not surprised they're as good as they are. I'm surprised Seattle did not perform as well as they could have. I thought they would have two teams over 90.
Yeah, that's a little.
So I mean, I guess maybe Edmonton's a little higher than I thought. I thought they'd be in the low 90s. I thought they could definitely be a 90-win team. But I thought Seattle would also be over 90, and that would be a close division race that the rest of the frick had.
So
as the other two divisions were decided by one game.
I think
and that one was decided by 12.
I think I underestimated Edmonton's pitching. I think that was my, and they did pick up Jesus Ramos, who decided to be the good Jesus Ramos. They picked him up last year, but decided that he would continue to be the good version of himself.
And Bobby Lynch came back.
Yep, and he kind of rounded back. He actually bumped. He got back to stuff that he lost, which is nice to see for a young player. Maxime Menso had a pretty solid year after being disappointing last year, and it came together really nicely. And I think it just goes to show you how little it takes when you've got the kind of talent they had to just actually, if someone just plugs the holes and commits to winning, that it's going to Seattle, who you're a little surprised. I think the thing that Contreras is falling apart. He's 31, and that's over. He has hit the velocity lump monster. Although, I mean, he only lost a mile an hour, but, like, he was a guy with a marginal fastball that relied on breaking stuff. And his fastball is now super marginal, and his breaking stuff is lumped a bit. I think he's just going to be one of those early career fall apart kind of guys, and that's unfortunate.
Which, I mean, it's funny because if you look at his numbers, he had a decent season.
Yeah, but not by his standards, right? Like, well, actually, his worst fine. You know what? He rounded into shape. He was. Maybe I was overselling this. I remember him looking at splits now. Yeah, he was not good in June and July, and he kind of pulled it together in August somewhat. So
I mean, he wasn't great. Like, he wasn't. I think for some reason Seattle guys seem to have high WAR. Like, Walter last year was good, but I don't know if he was quite as incredible as the WAR said he was. I don't know if it's their ballpark or what, but
yeah. And what's with Walter this year, right? Like, almost a 5 ERA out of him. How's that? I think you just said that. I was distracted looking at his stats while you said the same thing. I think I just said. But
yeah, like I mean, I get that Walter. I'm sure if you look at his FIP, it probably isn't. Yes, FIP is 3.87, but still a 3.87 gets you a 5.3.
Well, the 3.87 for him also is pretty poor, right? Like,
no, but I'm saying I don't know if that's a 5 WAR season.
I think it is actually right now. I was looking around. I think pitching's pretty bad. There's somebody I can't remember who I was looking at, but somebody turned in like a 4.7, 4.7 FIP, and that was like league average. So, you know, I mean, there's just some park adjustments and other stuff going on that makes this all a little bit wonky, but like not wonky, but just hard to track. And I think our starting pitching in this league right now is just not very good. Because and that,
yeah, I mean, like, I'm looking at my go-to pitcher, you know, John Reed with a 4.18 had a FIP minus of 89.
Right, and that's, you know, you look at a team like mine, and I do not really have that impressive an offense. Now, it is suppressed somewhat by my park, and it is helped out on the other hand by the fact that I can just launch home runs with all these lefty power hitters. But you know, I don't get on base.
You're very good
for average, and by base runs, I was the best team in the league. And it's just because I have pitching when no one else does.
Yeah,
I think it's just kind of the story of the league right now. Is just pitching is not very good, or it's you know, it's spotty. So yeah, but I agree. I thought Seattle would be better than this. You know, and they got a great year out of Juan Escobar. You know, relatively speaking.
I was looking at that earlier because I was looking at doing some of my leaderboard updates for the active guys. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I was looking at him and he had it was a good year. Like, I'll take that if I'm anybody with Escobar.
Right, especially if it's like you know, your guy that you're holding on, hoping you can pad those career stats. And
I mean, what was it? 298, 342, 470?
Right. I mean, out of your DH,
OPS of 102.
That's sub-ideal. Was he DHing or was he playing first base?
Let me see. Fielding. He was DHing.
So, it's not great out of your DH, but there's teams with worse ones.
And let's face it, there are owners in this league that play legacy guys that perform far worse.
Right, than that.
Yeah. Yes, you can't see me, but I'm staring at you through the phone.
Theodore. Oh, I was gonna say, are you talking about me? I did stop this year. I benched Chris Vasquez finally, and I benched. I benched Chris Vasquez by just putting on the bench, and apparently he's so bad that I don't have to do anything else. He just never got. Well, he got into a couple of games. He got into a couple of games in August, and you know, a couple of games in September, just on his own, or with my manager being stupid. And I am actively benching Ricardo Diaz because he's just been so bad. I gave him a couple starts when I had like injury problems, just because I figured maybe a miracle will come out there and he'll get that 6 ERA down to like 5 or something. But no, it's 9.6 this year because he is just he's cooked.
The other thing with Escobar is Nathan paid him $1.5 million this year, and he's got a team option for $1.5 million next year, which I'm picking up if I'm him.
Oh, I'm sure he will. Yeah, I mean that's he got more out of him. I'm paying my guys like 1.5, million and a half. And I'm getting nothing out of them. God, I hope they retire this offseason. Please, for the love of God, one of them retire. I just want the roster spot back. I'm a platoon heavy guy playing with a 25-man roster because I've got Chris Vasquez and Ricardo Diaz taking up spots, and it's killing me. That's enough about that. So Calgary, I think finished about where Calgary, what I would expect.
I don't think they were as bad as they were last year when they,
right,
for some unknown reason, just sucked.
Right, and I think that Kevin didn't really he wasn't pushing real hard to win this year. I think this was kind of a transition-ish year for him.
Yeah,
but
it's like he wasn't selling it off, but he wasn't making moves to try to
and he did
to get it in.
He did sell a few guys last year, but going forward, I think he looks really good. You still got he's 31, so you got to know that the clock's ticking, but you still got Cristobal Hernandez, and Jimmy Greenwood is getting older, but you got to figure they're at least 2-3 type starters. I think Hernandez probably still is close to an ace. Jefferson Pierce is just terrific. Carlos Rodriguez kept bumping, and Jesus, now he's like a 75 potential. That's nuts. And
Gilliam is a 65.
Yeah, and I think, and he's got more guys. He's got a couple more because I was looking for right-handed high movement starters. He's got some other guys coming up, so his bullpen will be fine. The weird thing is that his teams are always kind of these big right-handed home run hitters, and I don't see him.
He's got Jose Rios. That's it.
Yeah. Well, there's some other guys I think in a role, Henry Jones III can do okay. Nakanashi's a nice player.
Oh, I like Nakanashi. I was just looking at right-handed guys.
Oh yeah. Right. So
what did he end up doing? Is he still paying Rupert Grant all of the money to be bad?
To be a 761 up first baseman. Yeah, all of the ratings change make it look like maybe he didn't love quite as much as we thought he had, but he's still not very good.
He's still probably going to take that $12 million option for next year for 2 back-to-back negative WAR seasons.
Yeah, if he opts out, I'm going to drop. You'd think that from my tone and discussion of general things that I hate this game. I don't. I really, really enjoy it. So I'm going to try to curb my constant negativity regarding OTP because I really do like the game quite a bit.
Yeah,
Boise's bad. I think
Boise's
the GM of that team would agree with us quite a bit.
Yeah, all of his guys mysteriously lumped, and nobody knows why.
That was weird. I don't. Maybe Jeff will tell me what was going. Because he was in on the talks about what the timing of the ratings changed, and then I don't know if he got a brain fart or whatever.
Yes, he was. That's why I was confused.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of Vancouver.
They improved. I mean, I thought they would really suck. They were bad. I thought they would be in the Valencia, Hawaii, Des Moines, in the low 60s wins. And, I mean,
I didn't think
75 is...
I didn't expect them to be that bad. I thought they were going to improve. I just don't know, I don't know that you can build from within anymore entirely. And I think that's what Lee likes to do, and I just don't know that it can work. I think you have to trade. You have to trade or sign free agents. I don't think you can just do it with all prospects the way the game is now and as competitive as we are.
Who do you think likes to do that?
Lee. Oh, shit, Vancouver.
Oh, you switched over.
I'm switched to Valencia. I'm an idiot, and I get my D teams mixed up sometimes. They're both on the West Coast. One of them's in a different country. Taylor, right? Taylor.
Yeah.
Sorry, Taylor.
Taylor, favorite. We like Taylor. We talked about Taylor on the last podcast a bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm old. Just give me a break. I get confused easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought Valencia would be better than they were. But.
Yeah, that's why I was actually talking about what I thought of Valencia this whole time, which is why I was really confused when I was scrolling through their players and not seeing the people I thought was on that team because it was looking at the wrong team. Yeah. I don't know, though. Same thing with Vancouver. I don't know. They're a little better. How do they do in terms of like expected record? You know, they were expected to be 71 and 91, so they beat their expected record by a little bit, but enough to make it.
I mean, I know that offense also suppresses, like that ballpark suppresses offense, and they traded Popo, who was probably their best along with Mene, their best offensive player. But man, that offense is bad.
It's really bad. They were going to need some help there, and I'm not really impressed with their pitching, and that's kind of the thing. Like, it's not their pitching's got some okay parts to it, but it lacks kind of front end guys. And when you look at their top prospects, they're really not that close.
Arellano is up right now. He's still technically their number 2 prospect because I think they must have just called him up in September.
Right.
Not sure. But I'm not sure why necessarily. I guess he was doing good. He had 2 good years in AAA, so I get giving him a shot.
The other thing is that
we're
going to have to learn to look at development a little bit different. Either we all need to be teams are going to be needing to use the ratings relative to level option a whole lot, because remember, before it was like the distance between 1 and 2 was the same as the distance between like 4 and 5, right? That's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be like you're going to blow through like 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to sit at 4 and 5 forever because there's more rating clumped into that group. So he may be more ready than we think he is. He did pitch well in AAA.
Well, I was gonna say he had back-to-back good years in AAA at 19 and 20 years old. So I mean,
yeah, he may as well
Yeah,
I would still. I mean, you start him in AAA next year, but like giving him a cup of coffee is not a bad idea.
Yeah, just to see kind of maybe. I mean, if he had blown you out of the water, maybe you'd start him in the majors next year.
Right, but like Jose Ramirez, he needs to finish his development, but he could be an okay pitcher. And Venegas, though, isn't really that close to being developed, unfortunately, because the changeup just doesn't seem to want to move. And they've just, this is a team that like doesn't have that overwhelming number of parts.
They've got a bunch of number 3 guys.
I think Arellano could be like a 2, maybe even a.
Yeah, I think. Well, he's the one exception. If he fills out, he can be a 2.
Yeah, I think he could be a 2. I think. But they need bats too, and they need so much, unfortunately. So,
but look, I mean, if you're going to be in the division and struggle, that's the division, because I think it's pretty clear the Frontier is probably the weakest of the 6 that we have.
Yeah, but
with the exception of maybe the Southeast.
I don't think it's by that much. Okay, heading over to us. Let's talk about the Pacific here for a second. Do you think you were going to take the division lead back from me, or did you think your goose was cooked and you were going to be the wild card?
I thought I was going to be a wild card because who do I have on my pitching staff?
Yeah, and then I just blew every.
I have the immortal John Reed, and that's about it. I threw a guy literally that I signed off the scrap heap. Armando De Leon, look at him and just cry. Because I pulled him off the scrap heap in like June, threw him on my AAA roster. He's like a 27-year-old guy. I'm pretty sure he made his major league debut against you and pulled something out of his ass that I didn't even know existed. It was remarkable.
Yeah, I hate ending a season like this. I'm not optimistic about my playoff chances. Back into the playoffs, it just doesn't feel very good. Although, like you said, you mentioned that when you won it all, you did pretty poorly right up beforehand. So you never know. I think being kind of front runners for our teams are not the most exciting to talk about, really.
Well, it's funny because I have the offense, you had the pitching. We're going to meet for the 3rd straight time in the playoffs, probably, and it's going to be another 7-game marathon.
You keep saying that, but I really don't think that I honestly don't think they'll get past Twin Cities in the first round. They just swept me. I think I sucked against them all year. And yeah, sample size isn't tremendous, but like it is, it's like 10 games.
Hold on, let me see. I'll look up how you did it against them head to head. Hold on.
I feel like I did poorly, but now I'm having trouble. I'm not. I was just scrolling through the schedule looking for it. So,
Stats Plus is this thing where you can check head-to-head record against with any two teams.
while you're doing that, I'll just get my plugs in. Miguel Ramos won a Triple Crown, which is pretty cool.
They were 9-0 against you in the regular season.
Holy shit! Yeah, the playoffs don't look good. I thought it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad.
Games 2-1, 9-2, 5-3, 3-1, 5-3, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, and 7-3. So you did not score more than 3 runs in any game against them this year, and you had more games with a run than anything else.
Oh, that's awful. Yeah, well, it's going to be a quick, so I'm not going to be meeting you in the next round of playoffs. So I'll get my plugs in for my guys. I think Miguel Ramos is a pretty strong Nebraska case on the merits of leading his league and everything.
The question isn't whether Miguel Ramos is going to win the Nebraska. The question is he going to unanimously win the Nebraska? And I think the answer should be yes.
He stunk, and he was on pace for 8 WAR, and he finished with the same amount that he started with started September with. So I'm a little disappointed by his end of the season run, but I don't know.
But at the same time,
I don't really care.
He's still that much better than everybody else, though.
Yeah, he pitched really well. It was a great year for him. I was excited. The other guy I'd like to plug, and I know it won't make any difference, but I'm going to do it anyway, is Augustar Cardenas for reliever of the year, because he pitched 101 innings of 2 ERA ball for 3.64 out of the bullpen. And
who did this?
Cardenas.
Oh, sure.
And if you look at granted the OTP rankings aren't amazing, but he is the only reliever in the top 20 pitchers. Everybody else is a starter. So
that is impressive.
That should count for something. It won't, because he doesn't have many saves, and he only has 18 saves because I don't use a closer.
Is he hurt?
No.
Like, why is he not on your roster that I'm seeing?
Oh, because the game is stupid, and when it assembled the playoff roster, it left him off.
Oh, okay.
I have fixed that. But yeah, I was looking, I was like, why does my playoff roster look funny? And it figured that it would keep Roberto Moran instead of Augustar Cardenas. It was pretty sure that was the way to go.
Your scrap heap signing of Jose Morales worked out nicely for you, so well done done there.
Yeah, I think he's lumping already, though. That's the danger with those 30-year-old RP conversions, is some of them just start to lump right away, and I think he's losing his stuff, which is frustrating. So I may only get 1 year out of him, which stinks because I signed him to an extension for $900K. But
you signed him to a $900K a year with 4 years, with the last 2 being team options. So even if he sucks, you're okay there.
Yeah, I know. Other than that, I just backed into the playoffs like crazy. We had a losing month in September. We stopped hitting. That's why I'm worried is sometimes my team. You've been around long enough. This is my arc. I suck early. I absolutely catch fire in the middle of the season, and then I suck late. And I think it's a weather thing. Something about the way my part.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if you necessarily sucked at the beginning of this year. It's just that I was lighting things up, so it may have looked like you did. But
I didn't suck. My offense went back to being dog shit in April, and it's gone back to being dog shit in September. So
your pitch was good enough in April to survive because, well, you got the pitching conveyor belt over there.
But you can't. I mean, winning, scoring 0 to 1 runs a game doesn't get you anywhere in the playoffs, and there's a good chance I'll do that. Your team, I'm just disappointed in injuries in your team because I think you had 105, 105. Even everything goes right. I think middle of the season you had a 110 win team before the game took out all your starters.
I would agree with that.
That just sucks to see what could have been an epic, all-time run end that way. But you have,
and I have a pending team news where I'm going to posit whether or not this was the greatest offensive season of all time. And I will make the argument that yes, it is, despite the fact that I did not get the runs record, which, as you know, was something I had focused on for a long time.
You'll have to do some era comparisons. That'll be the hard part. Anything else tremendously interesting in our division? I mean, we kind of finished about the way we thought we would, right? Long Beach was kind of a strong wild
smoke
card
and mirrors
contender, but we kind of had the impression before the season that they might not quite have enough, and that's kind of how it went.
Yeah,
you heard my thoughts on
frankly, no offense.
What?
Yeah, no offense, Lane. I was never worried about him as far as that division goes. I figured that would be a 2-horse race between you and I, and he would be fighting for that wild card, which is pretty much what happened.
And Valencia and
I
Hawaii
thought Hawaii might be a little bit.
kind of did what we thought.
Didn't they get whacked by injuries though?
Did Hawaii? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, they lost. Yeah, they lost Lee Morgan and Iron Knife to injuries, and that really, really kind of hurt him.
Tom's a nice pitcher though.
Cobb is a nice pitcher. I don't know why I kind of didn't know about him until the All-Star game, but like he is interesting. And
He's
then
put together.
my favorite test case, Juan Trujillo, was not very good, but I still like him.
I like how his movement with the relative ratings, it has now dropped to a 1.
Yep. I enjoy his home run per 9 rate of 2.6. I think it's fantastic.
I like how he gave up more home runs than walks.
Yeah, I know. That's awesome.
28 home runs, 25 walks.
He's a cool player. You're gonna hate the guy the whole time you have him, but I think he can still be. I think he can be a useful piece. Maybe not. But.
Even better, look at this: 28 home runs, 59 earned runs, and 99 hits. So more than a quarter of his, basically 28% of his hits were home runs, and over almost half of his earned runs were just the batter on the home runs. That's not even factored in who else was on base.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is absolutely incredible on every level possible.
It actually doesn't matter. He's done. He'll never pitch more than like maybe another season because he has a sore elbow right now, and that is after already having a ruptured UCL, which is after previously rupturing his UCL 2 years before that. So he is. It doesn't really matter if I like him or not. He's done. He's just.
You're also missing the tender shoulder that he had earlier this season that kept him out for 5 days, which granted not the elbow, but
still though, I mean, these guys, if any of them, if 3 of them, let's just forget Trujillo for now. If Todd, Morgan, and Iron Knife are healthy next year, you can see Hawaii take a step forward. They're still going to have to find some bats, but they've got some decent offensive players now.
I think Hawaii,
maybe not offensive players, but position players.
If things break right for Hawaii next year, I could see them pushing 500.
Yeah, I mean, Manny Aguilar Jr. is a better hitter than what he did this year. There's just no question about it. He should be.
Yeah, but was this a rookie?
He should be 130 runs created guy. And yeah, you're right. Some of the rookies struggle, right? I think that Fernando Martinez is a decent player. Dave Talent's a decent player.
Martinez is the kind of guy that you need to have. He does his job. He does it well. He's not going to lead or carry your team, but he'll.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The same way with a guy like Ernesto Afiche. He's just he is what he is. Great glove. And Gerbrand, the best, is probably a little bit better than what he did this year. It's definitely better than what he did this year. So those guys bounce back and they pick up a bat somewhere. I could see them being in the wild card picture even next season. I mean, it's. I could also see them losing 100 games again. They'd have to have some things work out that haven't worked out, but they weren't a surprise this year. And Valencia, you kind of already heard my thoughts. I think they've got parts and pieces, but they don't have a team. And
Valencia's got some superstar pieces. Like, they're not, I mean...
Yeah, but, look at what we saw out of Edmonton with a bunch of superstar pieces. When you don't fill the rest of the team out, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, you can have as many of those as you want, but you can't make a team out of 5 players, and that's what they have, right? And some of those players are playing out of position because they play the same positions. Like Mahaffey and Wilton Rivera are both left fielders, and they're not even particularly good ones. And then Ramon Pagan is probably a right fielder. Eventually, I mean, he can scratch it in center for now. Suzuki,
but I mean, if you look at the top, really like 5 or 6 of that lineup, especially the top 4, but even all the way through 6, like that's a lineup that can do some damage.
Right, but they allowed 950 runs this year.
That's because their pitching atrocious,
horrible, right? And where are they going to get that? They also did this while having a kind of pitcher-friendly-ish park. The home run rate is up there, largely to right-handers. which again doesn't really fit the profile of the players they have. Zalapa and Pagan maybe.
Yeah,
But where is this team?
they had their chance to get it with dealing away Flores, and frankly, I thought the return for that was underwhelming, and that's putting it kindly.
Yeah, I don't know that they could have gotten a whole lot better. There's Growling Prophet. So Chen could be like a number 2. Why is the game rating him so poorly? That's interesting. So he's like a 8.68 starter. His motion's a little weak against lefties, but they've only got him. He's 27. That's why his potential's so low, because he's not going to develop any more than he currently is. Okay.
Profit good.
Profit could be good, but he's not yet, and he's 24 with an undeveloped slider, and you kind of wonder, will that pitch ever?
Whatever happened, I got to look at the rating, but whatever happened to Gerald Keynes? I thought he was supposed to be a lot better than. Did he lump?
Injuries,
he's on the DL.
Repeated injuries.
I mean, he just had no, not really, because it's oblique strain, finger blisters, dehydration. Oh, he's got shoulder inflammation that's out for 3 months right now. But
maybe he just lumped on his own.
Look at it.
Yeah, because I remember you're right. I remember the other thing is maybe this is a guy that we find out from the ratings change wasn't as good. That's what it was. He was 9.67 before the change, and must have wasn't an exceptional 9. It was kind of everything was probably on the low end of what it was. And,
although if you look at it, no, because he stayed a 9 after the conversion until this last development when he went down to a 7.
Yeah, you might be right. I don't trust these, or there's something weird.
I'm looking at
my team.
I'm looking at the in-game scouting.
So am I.
On him.
So am I. But the thing is that some of those things that say starter are relievers, and some of the ones that say relievers are starters, they're not correct anymore. If you look at,
he's listed as a starter though.
I understand that, but the scout things, where it says what they're listed at, aren't right. A lot.
Oh.
If you look at, go ahead and look at my team. Look at Jaime Mercado.
Oh, you mean the abused Jamie Mercado?
Yes. Well, I see where Ron was going now. His point is that the game is calling it that, and so I should have played it that way. And he's probably right, but I was assuming that the game, stupidly, that the game would be using PAP in a responsible manner. But whatever. That's a water under the bridge. Look at Jaime Mercado, right? So the ratings change as of October 4th, 2037.
Yeah.
It has him with 8
it's
stuff.
The same thing that just happened to Keynes.
He never had 8 stuff, as a starter after the ratings change. He had 8 stuff before the ratings change. And that control loss there is the ratings change doing that. He has 6 stuff as a starter after the ratings change, but it hasn't listed as starter there. So I don't know that I trust that on Keynes. These things are all screwed up
fair.
right now. There's something really weird
fair.
happening. If you take a guy, if you put a guy on the DL, it changes them to reliever half the time. It's really, there's something goofy going on. I don't know what it is, but I would like to see that get fixed, because it makes the scouting stuff really hard.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to Heartland.
So I think the biggest surprise in that division is Yellow Springs, right?
No, I think the biggest surprise is that Omaha's good.
They're not good,
or at least good by record.
Right,
I agree. They're not.
Omaha is the luckiest team in the league.
Yeah, that's why I guess I'm saying the biggest surprise is that they won that division, because they're not
to the tunes of 11 wins better by base runs and 12 wins better by Pythagorean record. They are exceptionally lucky, and they don't even have the makeup of a team that gets lucky. Teams that overachieve tend to be home run hitters, which they are, but also tend to have strong bullpens. And he has terrible bullpen, and really doesn't really have that great of pitching at all.
No.
So they just hit sequencing luck this year. Just everything worked out. And that's not to say they're not a bad team. I find it hard to believe that this should be a sub 500 team.
But I I think they're down in the mid 80s. Like I don't see much of a difference between them and not Yellow Springs, Long Beach.
I think their offense is considerably better.
No, but I mean, as far as overall, like if you're asking me to predict records for those two teams, I would put them in the same ballpark.
Yeah, I think it's fair. And I like Barnard. I don't like Georges. Never have. He just always seemed like a guy who would underachieve.
Barnard, I admit I'm biased against Barnard, but that's because I don't like low stamina starters. This is something that we've had discussed before.
Yeah. But
four stamina starters for me just don't.
Right.
No, I mean he could be useful if you know what I mean, but that's just I admit it's my own personal bias, which I acknowledge.
And Clulo's solid, and
Well, he had Stoller and Matume get hurt, which doesn't help.
No, and
that's also I haven't done PAP I didn't do it the last 2 seasons just because I've been busy with real life shit. But the last couple years before that, he was running it up with his guys.
So he still doesn't appear to have pitch counts. So I think there's a good chance that Stoller is done. He is no longer going to. If he comes back, he will be vastly diminished or immediately injured again.
Radial nerve decompression surgery. That just, I don't even know what that is, and that just sounds bad.
Oh, that's one of these things. I got kind of sidetracked and stopped caring. I'm going to ask Ron to send me the injury list again now that the season's over. We see that actually a lot. I don't know that that's a thing that happens in actual baseball, but we see 3 or 4 of them a year. And the radial nerve. That just sounds. I don't think the radial nerve gets compressed in the elbow. Like that's the thing that's weird about it. There's spots where the radial nerve actually can have compression issues. I'm not sure the elbow's one of them, but I could be totally wrong about that.
That's one of those things that just sounds like something you don't want as a pitcher.
That's actually not that big a deal. As a pitcher, it's horrible. I guess I don't know. Look at the number of injuries Carson Stoller has had. Like he's done. He's cooked.
Is it almost as many as the number of pitches he's thrown?
It's almost a whole page. Like his injury history almost fills up the page. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 injuries since the beginning of 2006. And it's
2036. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, 2036. And it's elbows in there a lot.
And then I've always kind of liked Martin Marin. I tried to pry him from Marco a time or two, so it was nice to see him kind of break out a little bit. At least with the power. I thought the average might be a little higher than it was. He can launch a baseball.
Oh, okay. I forgot that it goes through the supinator right there. That's fair. I guess that's where it is. It's not really an elbow thing. It's a forearm thing.
Oh, fair.
But it's proximal forearm, just below the elbow, goes through kind of where the supinator muscles are. And that makes sense in pitchers. Anyway, I don't know how often that happens, and that's one of the weird things. Like when you're looking at these injuries, is that they're OTP lists them one way, and some of the ways are like things that we used to call stuff, but they always change what they're calling an injury now. They used to call it this, now they call it that. It's the same thing, so that makes it a little confusing. But again, they've got decent pitchers. They're just they might not anymore. So you think Omaha's a surprise there? I think Yellow Springs still is. I didn't expect them to be like they were, but they were like a 95 to 100 win team every year. And so, yes, everybody's, they lost 2 of their best 3 players. I think they lost their best 2 players, but I don't know that they've still got some incredible bats. And
their pitching just shat the bed.
Right, and I think that's the huge surprise, right? Like Carlos Valle is just better than this. He's just better than this. That shouldn't have happened. And I don't understand how, unless it's just, I'm a rookie and I'm sorting it out. But Ernesto Ramos should be better than this, And
Dogface is done. Ron's acknowledged.
So that's,
Dogface is Ricardo Diaz level done. Like it's,
I don't think he's quite that done yet. Diaz is impressive. Oh no, yeah. Jose Chavez still has above average stuff and movement. He's still like legitimately could start. He's a lefty but like the season Lucas McNeil put together is really just shocking, right? Like how does that even
He
happen?
got his money. Maybe the game is more realistic than we think. Guy got paid. Guy starts sucking.
Like you get paid that much. Like I imagine if you had if I earned $95 million this year, which is kind of what that would translate to. If I made $95 million, I don't know that I could focus on baseball. I might just be like buying yachts and like doing yacht demolition
and spending time with your pop star girlfriend.
Right. I would be finding creative ways to blow things up. That's what I would be doing with that kind of money.
He did not even have. He went from slashing 323, 414, 572 to slashing 240, 297, 431.
Right. It's remarkable. He had a 100-point drop in BABIP, which some of that. I mean, last year's BABIP was clearly unsustainable, but he's like a career 330 guy, and he had a 270. He struck out his strikeouts trend may be bad, but he struck out 18% before, and that's what he did in 2036. But he's 4 to 5% higher than that this year. He just stopped walking. That's weird. Like that's just odd that he just completely stopped walking. I don't think he lost him.
Because the power numbers, if you look at the power numbers were little down, but not much. He stopped walking and he stopped hitting triples.
Well, his ISO dropped by 60 or 72. I mean, he just didn't show up at all. Ron, I think, asked, I wonder how much of that is playing second base. Like, is he just, you struggle there? Does that make you suck? Otherwise, I don't know.
He shouldn't be a bad second baseman.
Okay, so
it's not like he's
the timing on these is different. Oh, he should be a bad second baseman. He should absolutely be a bad second baseman. 5 range at second base is bad. Like there's just baseballs going by him.
All right, counterpoint to you're bad at defense, you struggle at defensive position, and it affects your offense. Jared Gilstrom is a 5 range second baseman, and he didn't suck at the plate.
No, I don't know that it's consistent. I just think it's a question that's worth asking. I don't know. I feel like I've seen guys that I'm trying to teach extra positions in the minors that aren't good at them struggle a little bit and then stop when I stop doing it, but that just may be me reading too much, remembering the results I want to and forgetting the ones I don't. I forget the name of that particular type of bias. So, Lucas McNeil question. When all is said and done, which contract will be worse? I mean, I know which one I'd rather have right now, but we're looking at the total from the times they were signed. This one or the Carlton Winston contract?
Ooh, I got to look at Winston.
Winston's still a solid player, but I feel like...
Also, what's the best?
I feel like
400 and 300.
Oh my God, the Winston contract has almost as much left on it still. Holy shit.
Yeah, because remember, he signed it with a whole season to go, I think. I think he signed it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're both bad.
Yeah, I was going to say they're...
Although, I think I'd take the McNeil one. I don't know, though.
I would rather have...
You can get out of you can be guaranteed to be out of the McNeil one sooner.
If you just bench him for the last couple seasons, or for the 4th season.
If you have to, you can get out of that one easier, and I think that's the reason I'd do it. And I think McNeil has a much better chance to bounce back to some level of being a really, really good bat. Like, he may not. This may be the beginning of his decline. This may be what we saw in Winston in 2035. But we don't know that yet, and we know that Winston's diminished. Right? We know that he's not going to return to being a win player.
It's still a decent player. I mean...
he's still a decent player, but he's he'll be making nearly as much as McNeil, and he has no chance of being maybe even an all-star again. Whereas I think we don't know that about
the problem with that Winston. The problem with that Winston deal is that takes him through his 39-year-old season.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to.
No, wait,
38. Out, right?
38.
I don't think he's going to do
38-year-old. Yeah. All right, so I guess back to other teams in the Heartland.
It's nice to see Twin
I mean,
Cities,
Twin Cities, and
even though they
they're
smoked
about
me all year and they're gonna knock me out of the playoffs. It's nice to see it coming together for them because they've been pretty snake bitten with injuries and lack of development and stuff not working out. So and they almost like lost their way out of the
they're
playoffs. And,
they are what we thought they were, though.
yeah,
All credit to Dennis Green for that one. I mean, we thought they'd be high 80s, low 90s, and
that's
90
what they are.
wins will
Yeah.
fall.
Madison, I think, is a little bit of a surprise to me, only because I was stupid and didn't pay attention to how many incredible bats they put together. It is a lot. It is a large number.
Just kept right on. I mean, doing what John Mick does.
Well, he was down a little bit this year. I mean, his on-base percentage has been slowly trending down. But again, as you pointed out earlier, when every time you come to the plate, Mondrator's on base in front of you, and if not him, then Healer or somebody else is there. It does definitely give you
Or now
opportunities. What's up?
Popo in the two spots, a nice pickup right there for him.
Yeah, I think it's a really good. I like Niccolo Machiavelli a lot. I would love to have that player. This is just a really well put together offense that's pretty impressive. And he went kind of the Tyler Simmons light route and just assembled a bunch of somewhat underwhelming number 3 and 4 starters. And with that offense, it was enough. It's definitely enough.
I mean, I'm not sure he has any number 3 starters in there, but I think they're number 4, number 5 guys.
Well, but it also looks like the low movement experiment is over. Like we've transitioned away from that, right? Because these guys are all 5s and 6s now.
But he has, I don't know who else he's going to start in the playoffs, but if he goes with a 3-man, his starters are 5.66, 5.58, and 4.58. He has not one starter with more than league average stuff.
No, but he didn't care about that during the year. So I think if he hits, he's going to win. If he doesn't, if somebody shuts him down, like if you can hold him to 4 runs, you probably beat him. It's nice when the math is simple.
Well, and I don't know, he faces Omaha in the first round, and I don't know if Omaha can shut him down.
Shall we discuss Des Moines? I don't really want to. I feel like it's just piling on.
I'm going to see if there's anybody that, I mean, we praised the Don Draper signing, so we're smart because that one worked out well.
Yeah. I just thought Ed decided to change tack and kind of rebuild. I think he did a little bit too late. That's been discussed on previous podcasts. But once he moved those 2 players, he was going to be bad. That's all there is to it, right? Like you trade your 2 best players, and you're a mediocre team to start with. You'll instantly become a very bad team. As we talked about on an earlier one, I don't think Ed's allowed to have outfielders.
I'm not sure what happened to Ragnar Lothbrok this year.
Injuries, I believe. I feel like that's the answer. Should be the answer to everything. If you don't know, just assume they were hurt.
No, I mean, I don't know if you can count heart palpitations as a injury, but
it's because he was so nervous about being bad. He had the vapors.
Elwood Blues fell off a cliff, it looks like.
Elwood Blues was always going to fall off a cliff. Like he was like up and down. He's been up. I feel like he's been unreliable throughout his career. He had forearm stiffness. Ragnar Lothbrok.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I mean, that was late in the season, wasn't it? Though.
Yeah, he tore a meniscus last year. I don't know if that affected him. It looks like he's been a really borderline low motion pitcher, and with the ratings change, you can really see that. And he gave up, like if he'd thrown 200 innings, he would have given up 50 home runs this year. So that's what happened to him. Is everybody hit the baseball out of the ballpark, and that is not a good thing to do.
No.
Mario Villarreal has just not the pitcher he was when he was in Louisville. Hasn't been for a while. That's not surprising.
Patrick Patchett struggled badly.
Yeah, he might bounce back a little bit on he's 30. And the Elwood Blues is always kind of up and down guy, I feel like. So, just everything. Like, what happens when you have a bunch of almost good enough players is your team's terrible.
All right, so you want to do Atlantic or Sunbelt first and work our way from there?
Well, let's go with the Atlantic. Rockville, back to we are what they thought they were. We thought they were. I mean, there's the other Triple Crown. I think that's pretty cool. Like 2 pitching Triple Crowns.
Double, triple.
Although neither one of them actually won the baseball one, but I don't know if that matters. That's still pretty neat.
And also Dempster technically split his because he tied for the league lead in wins.
Close enough. Don't care. It's still pretty cool. What was the
Brooklyn?
The most important thing to me about Rockville is what was the vesting option on Enrique Gomez? That's the most important thing.
I want to say it was like 160 something.
160 innings pitched, and he came in at 156.2. Good job, Aaron.
Well done.
Absolutely.
So you know what the important thing about this is? Fred Holmes can sign him. Fred Holmes can sign him. And he can get his franchise records.
He might do that.
That is if I don't sign him and hold him hostage.
I don't know that I would sign Enrique Gomez. He might be completely useless next year.
I need to find Enrique Gomez so I can see what he's fallen to.
He is 4.88. He has dropped. His velocity has lumped 4 times this season. Fortunately, his sinker has survived that. But as soon as his sinker, I mean, it's diminished. And if he stays as he is now, I'd be perfectly happy to have him. But the problem with losing sinker rating is you lose motion with it. And so let's say that sinker goes to a 6 and his stuff gets to a low 4 and his movement goes down to like a 7 or a 6. He's done. That's it.
So question, because you're far better at this than I am. Now that he's up to a 5 stamina, is it worth even thinking of picking him up and converting him?
No. You don't convert declining pitchers. One of the biggest benefits to RP conversions is the velocity bump. Well, it's not. I mean, it's 50-50. The pitches changing as well happen. But, like, if you were to make his velocity 100, if you went to the editor and made Enrique Gomez's velocity 100, it would be back to 90 by the end of next year. The game has, like, an internal aging curve. Once you are on the part of the curve where it's moving your velocity, it does not matter what you do with the editor. It will still continue to move on that curve. So doing RP conversions on guys that are already losing velocity doesn't really work. He's too old.
Good to know. And then the other question with Rockville is, how much money is Arthur Dempster going to get next year?
I don't know. He might get it out of free agency.
Besides all of it. Well, I'm not saying he's going to get it from Rockville, but somebody is going to give Arthur Dempster all of the money.
Is he going to be a free agent?
Yes, he sure is.
Well,
because Aaron can't extend him because he still has Enrique Gomez's $15 million.
Negotiate with him though. He's got like a week or two. Like he'll be able to decline that vest and throw a Godfather offer at him if he wants to. You can get a deal done in the window that's there.
Well, but even if he declines the vesting option and he accepts and all his other arbitrations come in the ballpark,
he can give him $30 million.
You can give him 20.
No, you're forgetting that he's already making 11. He's already making 12.
But that's not factored in anything next year. He's got a blank spot next year.
Oh, whoops.
He doesn't have a current 12 for next year. He's got nothing.
Oh, he's got a blank spot for next year. Right.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yes, he sure is. That's why I said somebody is going to give him all of the money.
Maybe it's a blessing in disguise for Aaron, just because now he can't overpay his own guy.
Well, the interesting thing, it might also force Bob Coleman out of the open market, because if he wants to decline that 5.5,
yeah, you could do that. I mean, you can replace him more easily, but I still don't know if you can replace Dempster. I just think that you and I talked about this previously, that Dave Martin trade is starting to look pretty bad. Not because he's not great, he's not a good pitcher, and the extension isn't reasonable. It's just because once you did that with that and Dan Cannon, you can't bring Dempster. Maybe Aaron's got a plan. I don't know. I should ask him before we talk about this too much. But they're not a surprise, right? Rockville's exactly what we expected. What do you think about Brooklyn?
I didn't know what to expect from them, so fair.
Yeah. You should make some stuff up to talk about Brooklyn. I'm going to go find out what I wrote about them in the media guide. I think I wrote, I don't know.
Can you just insert a music? Can you just insert a music clip of the song "Moves Her Body Like a Cyclone" right now? You realize that there is a decent chance that both Mauro Flores and Arthur Dempster will be on the free agent market this year, right?
That's kind of awesome. Why would Flores be on the free agent market?
Because he's a free agent.
As I scroll through the
already.
Oh, that's right. Because Brooklyn is so fucking over this is their all in year. Yeah.
Yep.
I predicted. So we're gonna, since I have predictions, we should do. We'll go back and do we'll see how smart Aaron was. I predicted Rockville to be 93 and 67, but I did predict them
100 wins.
So I got the order. Yeah. Oh, hey, want to hear my order for the my projected order for the Atlantic? Rockville, Brooklyn,
well, I'm guessing
Montreal, Atlantic City, Charm City. How'd I do?
There you go.
Not bad.
Attaboy.
I had 86 wins for Brooklyn. And
89.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. Montreal, I had a little better than I expected them to be. But I had them a little better than they ended up, but they traded stuff. So, in Atlantic City, I had a lot better than 68 wins. But also, I think that they overachieved last year, and I've just started giving Josh the benefit of the doubt because he's beat me a whole bunch. But not beat my predictions a whole bunch. So I was right this time, but I wasn't smart enough to say I was right this time. So, damn.
But yeah, so Mauro Flores is going to be a free agent, and I mean, it'll be interesting to see who gets a. Dempster should get a bigger deal. I'm assuming he gets there, unless Aaron can find a way to get it done in that 1 week window, which he's going to have to completely overpay him if he wants to get it done.
Unless, we don't know. Sometimes the game's still goofy and people will take sweetheart deals. So, who knows? I doubt it, right? Like, I really doubt it. Like, this will be a clear best pitcher in the league season. The game's calling him the best pitcher in the league. He has 3 Nebraskas? Or just 2?
I think he's got 2, and this is going to be his 3rd, but
he's got to be asking for McNeil type money.
Yeah, he has. He's got
Brooklyn losing, so Mauro Flores is going to free agency. I think Balderas, does he have a mutual option, or is that just a player opt out?
Hold on,
player opt out.
Balderas is an opt out. Yep.
You can opt out at 12.5 though. He'd be stupid to do
so.
Wait.
But hold on. No, so Balderas is an opt-out after next year.
Oh, wait. Yep, you're right. I can't read the financial. I'm not doing well today.
Alfredo Martinez is the opt-out after this year.
Right. Think he's going to be a free agent?
He might be.
I think so. I think he'll opt out. Maybe not. Oh, he might. And if both of those guys opt out, Brooklyn will be under the cap next year. Good for them. Can you explain to me what's going on there? Are those players they traded? Those are players they traded. Is that how it works? No, those are players they picked up for free.
That's what Fred is paying all of their salaries, basically.
Oh, okay.
Or not Fred, but various guys are paying. He sent prospects for all those players. And
it's just funny. I'm just not used to looking at players with no dollar amount next to their name.
Yeah, he's paying. They're playing for him for free. Somebody else is paying the full freight.
God, dude, you know what? Just when I was excited because Allen had broken the budget so badly, he was something like $40 million over budget when the season started. He doesn't stop there. He trades for players and doesn't pay any of them to get even more massively. I don't know.
As of right now, he is at $124 million for next year.
Right, and that's without $14 million of Mauro Flores. So. I think Brooklyn is potentially one of the more dangerous playoff teams. I don't know how you feel about that. Allen's really good at matchups.
Yes, he is. Who's their first matchup? Well, it depends on if we get who has the tiebreaker between Mexico City and Vegas.
It's Brooklyn, Mexico City.
I think somewhere Fred Holmes is throwing things.
Yeah, I'm sure this is not a team he would particularly want to face. But their pitching strategy, which carries them through, which he does really well with during the season, is going to be even more effective in the playoffs because the guys will be all, if you don't play every day, they're more rested. Those are both dangerous teams, though. I mean, that's a really we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but that's
and also
really nasty.
Also, he has Fernando Cruz. He of the six division round MVPs.
Yeah.
This is Fernando's time to shine.
Well, we need to get a move on though. We're over an hour already. We're not getting anywhere.
Montreal, we kind of already mentioned. We blew through kind of the rest of the.
Yeah, we don't really care about Atlantic City or Charm City. Sorry, Josh. Sorry.
Charm
Slot.
City set worth noting. Charm City set a all-time since '95 record for strikeouts in a season, batting strikeouts in a season.
Good job, guys.
So,
nobody's surprised by Jacksonville. The surprising thing is whether or not Jackson or what's going on with Tyler. We haven't heard much of him recently. God, I hope he sticks around. He's so good.
I agree.
Nice guy and fun to talk to. We squeaked out. I squeaked out on predictions. Huntsville hasn't made the playoffs yet.
Yep, and we're done. This is the last season of it.
Oh,
we're done.
We lost the last 5 games. Oh, Kyle is. Yeah, I don't know if Kyle throws things. I imagine he throws things, or at least steams. I bet he doesn't throw. I bet he says a lot of just highly stoked inner fury.
Isn't he a Philly guy? They throw snowballs at Santa Claus. Of course, he throws things.
Oh, he's a nice-ish. I don't know how to say Kyle's nice. He doesn't seem like your typical angry Phillies fan.
But. And then New Orleans is kind of what we thought.
Yeah, transition year, right? Now let's get to your buddy. I don't think this year could have gone worse, Brett.
No,
I really don't.
No. But the fact is, at the same time, it couldn't have gone worse, and he still ended up with 75 wins. Whereas a couple of years ago, Nashville would love to get the 75 wins.
I almost got this one right. I had Jacksonville, Huntsville, Nashville, New Orleans, Louisville. So I flipped New Orleans. I had New Orleans 70 and 92, and Nashville 81 and 81. And
Nashville might have the Silk winner in the Johnson though, because Justin Jackson is awfully good at baseball.
Yeah, I think we're bet. Oh wow, he had a good year. I haven't looked at that league too hard for batters. I bet someone did better than him. But that's a really, really, really good year. And this is kind of
He led the league in OPS and WAR.
Did you think that they were going to be 11th in offense and 8th in pitching? That's really weird, right?
No.
Why was their offense not better? Too many was the other guys? Kamade had a great year. Jackson had a great year. Tufu Young wasn't amazing, but he was good.
Suarez didn't perform.
But he wasn't
I think
bad.
that one was but that was a step back from what it was last year.
Ariola kind of shit the bed after coming out. He almost batted himself into shape. How is this offense so bad? That's weird. There's a surprise. I mean, there were holes the last few. You knew Sam Wade and Manuel Martinez were not going to be particularly good, but it's kind of shocking that they hit so poorly. I don't think anybody's surprised by the pitching. I feel bad that Piefner seemed to be turning it around for me, and then he went back to being crap for Brett. That makes me feel bad. And the rest of the pitchers are not good, and he had injuries. So, more or less what we expected to see out of the pitching staff anyway.
And Louisville went pretty much exactly what everybody thought it would be. I'm sad that Kevin Morales is apparently not good anymore.
You think? I haven't looked at Kevin Morales a whole lot. I actually thought he looked okay-ish at one point in the year, but that was back when Louisville was pushing 500, and they've been horrible ever since.
He ended up being. He's okay, but he was absolutely incredible a couple years ago.
I actually think Kevin Morales is still a number 2. I think his ratings back it up.
I'm surprised.
Ground ball rate is kind of not changed. His hits per 9 are up a little bit over a few years ago, but they're not bad. He's not allowing.
So why is he only a 60?
They're bug. They're just not very good. Is what I've kind of learning from that. The guy's he's not as good as he used to be. It's kind of interesting because I don't think he should be this bad. He's not bad, but I feel like he should still be better than this. How better is splits? Is that the issue? Not really. I think you could get a little more out of him if he could bounce back some. And,
Pepe has.
Yeah, and that's the again, like look at the ratings. That's 8 stuff now is pretty damn good, and 7 movements pretty reasonably. It's good. Got,
6 control is bad. I mean, if that's your worst of the 3,
that's
that's
better than average still, right? Ron had all the averages in and under 6 somewhere, so getting back to that, like Ron and I were dithering about like average, and he's right. Like I was saying, 5 was average, and I guess I was using the wrong words. 5 is an acceptable big league tool. That doesn't mean it's average, right? Because a lot of players are going to have better than acceptable big league tools.
all right. Last division, Phoenix. Is this where I tell you that I'm right that Meyer is a good baseball player? You were wrong.
Yeah, well, you know what? The ratings change really kind of shone some light on that. Phoenix was a little lucky though. If you look at base runs, Mexico City, like they're all within a game of each other. Like those 3 teams all were, really close. And the actually, if you go by base runs, I think that San Antonio is just barely behind these guys. Vegas 88, Mexico City 86, San Antonio 86, Phoenix 84. So I mean that's a pretty cluster division. San Antonio was the
Where was Wichita?
Bad. About where they actually maybe a little better than this, which is 71 and 89. So
they had 2. Stats Plus hasn't updated to account for the Mexico City.
Oh,
because Wichita had a doubleheader against Mexico City.
Gotcha. Okay. So maybe those other ones will change a little bit then, but these teams are all really, really close to each other. We mentioned Omaha is the luckiest team in the league. San Antonio is the least lucky, which is so unfortunate because Calvaruso doesn't deserve any more bad luck. But they were -9 from their expected win totals. And that's pretty awful.
He spent all of the money to try to.
Yeah, I'm glad Mexico City came back because I don't think that they should have. It's like one of those where like when what you think should happen happens after not happening, you feel better. You don't feel like lost and hopeless where you don't know what's going on. Let's see what Mr. Smart Predictor guy. I had Las Vegas, Mexico City, Phoenix, San Antonio, Wichita, and I had 93, 92, 91, 70, 59. So I didn't really do well in the order at the top there, but I feel I said this was close, and I didn't have any idea what would happen. And that's kind of what happened. So good. Thad Meyer, huh?
Thad Meyer's good. I tried to tell you this, and you didn't want to listen to me.
Well,
if there's one thing that you said, pitching, I know offense.
One of the things I've learned from the ratings change is that I have been undervaluing contact hitters. And I think the reason for that is I would rather have a well-rounded guy than a guy with like one huge tool. What the ratings shift has showed me a little bit is that some of these guys that had these, one really distinctly advanced skill, are actually considerably better at that thing than I thought they were. Thad Meyer almost didn't budge with the rating shift, which is impressive and shows just how good of a contact and gap power that he is. And I don't think I ever completely argued that Thad Meyer wasn't really good. What I argued is that, although did he play right field this year, and he's still that valuable? Okay, I'm just wrong. I was wrong about Thad Meyer. You win that one.
Yeah, because he had Ripley in center.
Yep. I was right about Ripley, right? Not enough contact.
Yeah.
I have no pride. I would love to have Ripley on my team. But I think there was some man, is this going to guy be a huge superstar? No, because he struck out 228 times.
Which I'd have to look, but I'm pretty sure that was almost
228 times. Man, has baseball changed. Do you remember when 100 strikeouts was a bad season? Well, you might not. But if you struck out 100 times in the mid-90s, it was that guy's a bum. They were wrong, but 228 strikeouts. It's unbelievable.
I had a bad connection, but yeah.
That's a third of his plate appearances. 1 out of 3 times he went up to the plate, he struck out. That's just incredible. You know what you should do? You should game log. Find out how many various sombreros he had this year. Not that many. I'm through September and August, and there's only one gold. He was just consistently striking out. There's 2 golden sombreros, 3, 4, 5 golden sombreros this year. Would you have thought I would have thought it'd be more than that. Huh.
He was just consistent.
He just struck out every game. A lot. Oh, yeah,
Be curious. And if you look at his fielding, didn't really live up to those monster ratings that he has.
No, but his range is the weakest one, right? So
range is still 9.
Yeah, 9 is like not an exciting center field range anymore. It's a good one. It's good, but it's not like an amazing one. I don't think anybody is surprised by anything that Las Vegas is, right? Las Vegas is Las Vegas.
Yep. Mexico City at this point, yeah.
Thank goodness they came
San Antonio.
back. You know, let's talk about San Antonio. If you had to pick which of those 3 players they signed would have had the best year, were you going to go with Chang?
No, I'd probably go, well, I mean, Chang had, he won the overall batting title, which,
yeah. I probably would have gone with the guy that was the worst. I would have thought that De Castillo was the best of those 3 players. And I probably, just due to my inherent biases that I've learned about this year with contact hitters, I probably would have picked Jesus Gonzalez ahead of Chang. Not because I really ever thought Jesus Gonzalez was that good, but because he just kept being good. You know, we talked about this during the signing one where, like, he's just been a good player with kind of mediocre crud ratings that didn't budge much with the ratings change. So they must have all, like we said, been on the high end of what they were. But
well, if you look at De Castillo too, he has never really put 2 consistent seasons together, either good or bad.
No, yeah,
like he's right. So what it means is next year is going to be incredible.
Maybe, and with his strained hamstring, Chang will lose his speed and no longer be effective. That's the most likely thing, because that's what Calvaruso gets. He gets inconsistency. I do like the moves he made, though. I like picking up Ike Kondo. I think that's going to help him going forward. I don't think Kondo's like the greatest pitcher in the world, but I think he's a good one.
I do. I like Ike Kondo. I've always liked him. Even when I traded him, I liked him.
Okay, so...
And then Wichita was just bad.
Wichita was like a 500 team for half the year, and I was feeling like I was going to have to eat some crow, because I got burnt out when I was writing the previews. And Wichita was
I remember you just said... you just said I don't care.
I'll be bad, and I don't care. And I said they'd lose like 100-plus games, because I just wanted the needle stew a little bit. So
Wichita did have the most memorable pitching performance of the year, though. Go to Lane Aldridge. Look at the game log.
Yeah, we've mentioned this already, right? This happened at some point.
Not on the podcast. We didn't talk about it, but go to his game log and find the one game that stands out.
The game score of -38. Is that the one you're going for?
That is
14 runs in 2/3 of an inning against Mexico City.
Look at this thing. He literally gave up 13. Everybody that I don't even know what's a. He faced 16 batters and 14 of them scored.
There's some of the people here listen to Effectively Wild. You don't, but it's a baseball podcast. Anyway, it's they do hypothetical situations. They answer a lot of user emails about listener emails about hypothetical situations, and some of them are hilarious. And one of them is regarding a theoretical manager, the question how many intentional walks in a row could a manager do before someone intervened, and how would it happen, right? Would they physically restrain him and carry him? If he just kept signaling intentional walk over and over and over again, how would that be? How many would it take before someone was what's going on? And what do they do to that? Are they concerned for its health? How would they is there a medical intervention where they wonder if he's? And this is kind of the same thing, right? It's not quite the same in terms of bizarreness, but after this isn't like he's a reliever in a game that was blown out already. He was the starter in what do you?
And maybe the craziest is he gave up 14 runs in 2/3 of an inning, and he gave up 1 walk and no home runs.
Oh, I didn't even notice that part. That's unbelievable. Maybe that's why his manager was like, "Oh, these are just falling in, just bad ball luck. He'll get them eventually." Like, you gotta imagine that he's just like the pixels of Lane Aldridge were just staring in at the. Was he like
You know what it was?
Just looking at the dugout, like, get me the fuck out of here. Like, what?
You'll appreciate. You know what? This is the best analogy, and you'll appreciate this. It's the Patrick Waugh Montreal Canadiens situation. When he walks up, when he leaves him on there for 9 goals, and then Waugh walks over and tells the owner, "I'm done. I'm never playing for you again," and they trade him.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Like, how do you? He faced 16 batters and 14 of them reached, or 14 of them scored. 14 of the 16 batters
and 14 reached.
And 14 reached, and like okay, you gave up 5 runs, and you're like, you know what? Bullpen's tired. The bullpen was tired, but let's say the bullpen, it wasn't because they pitched a lot of innings. Like, I don't know. Let's say the bullpen was tired, and like, we just got this one out. And then he gives up 2 more, and it's set and then he gives up 2 more, and it's 9. Like, he gave up 5 more runs after giving up 2 more runs 3 times. From the point where most teams would pull. Oh, it's bizarre. Like, that's just, I know it's a video game, but it's just awesome. Like, just the concept of the manager and the players on the field just fucking staring at each other. Like, what the fuck? Like, did he kick the manager's dog, or sleep with his daughter, or just left him out there? I enjoy it. This is one of the best box scores ever, because if you look down 2 lines, you can see Ismael Pena, who pitched shortstop, who now, I believe, has a career ERA of 162. may never pitch again, and that will be his pitching line for the rest of his life. Amazingly,
that is all.
If you have an ERA of 162 for a third of an inning, that comes out to a WAR of -0.1. His walks per 9 is 108. That's either a 9. I know this is the small sample size stuff, but it's just funny to see the numbers.
And the other great thing is, in that game, Wichita scored 10 runs, and they lost by 17.
This is the game of the year, right? The bad game of the year.
It has to be.
Oh,
it has to be.
It might be an all-time. I mean, it's not all-time because we have absentee owners that didn't fill out stabs, and so some guy threw over and over again.
Well, I mean, my first season, I lost 20-0 to Aaron before Aaron got good. I literally lost the game 20-0, and I promptly sent that starting pitcher down to AAA. Nope, you're done. Next.
All right, let's do some playoff predictions, and then we'll maybe wrap this up.
All right, let me pull up the playoff map. Hold on.
So first round, well, I've already kind of told you before this, but I think I've got Twin Cities beating me. I've lost 9 games to them already this year and 1-0, and I've backed the playoffs.
They should beat you, but I've learned not to count out Ted Schmidt. So I'm taking you.
Wolves, Hawks.
God,
I think I'm gonna
Madison.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna beat the crap out of the Hawks. Not great pitching.
Well, and also Madison's got the big targets.
How did these guys do against each other this year?
I was actually just looking. Hold on. It was 6-6.
Oh, yeah. This is why we're confused. I'm still going to go with Madison.
I agree.
I think in the other league, I think the best 2 teams are in the same, at least in the first round. I think I would take Brooklyn or Mexico City over Vegas or Phoenix.
Yeah, but those are 4 good playoffs. I would take
good teams.
I would take any of those 4 teams over Madison or Omaha.
Yeah, which is so weird. That because that's the bad league right now. The teams at the bottom are so bad, but the ones at the top are pretty solid. I just like Allen does stuff well. I don't think anybody wants to face him in the playoffs, especially the way his team's constructed. Mexico City's on fire. I don't know who to pick there. I'm going to take Brooklyn, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to take Mexico City, but that's just because, I mean, I don't know.
And I think I'm going to take Vegas over Phoenix.
I'm taking Vegas just because, I'm worried about Phoenix's pitching.
Well, they're all on the DL. Not all.
And his offense. and his offense is good, but I don't think it's good enough to. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be stunned if Phoenix won, but I'm going to take Vegas.
But I would take Rockville and Jacksonville over the winners of either one of those cities.
I would agree with that.
And I will take San Fernando and Edmonton over the winners of either of the other series.
I would agree with that also.
Yeah. So we got San Fernando versus Edmonton. Ugh, it depends. A lot of that depends on your health. Can you have Raphael back by then?
No, I think he's back for the Landis if I get there. Let me look. Hold on. He is out for 3 weeks.
All right.
So probably back. Although he's not listed as being eligible for my
He'll come
playoff
back.
roster.
Okay, so my prediction is he will come back for Game 7. You'll put him on the playoff roster. And he will be injured for the first 6 games of that series and pitch Game 7 to beat Edmonton and take you.
Now, question: do I have to put him on my playoff roster now, or can I leave him on the DL and parachute him in?
I think you should be able to put him in between rounds. And if you just communicate to Rec that that's what your plan is, if you have to fix it later, you'll be able to. But you can change.
But yeah, I agree, and I think my offense is just going to carry me. I think against Edmonton.
Just better than I thought they were, though.
I agree, but
who do you have going on the other side?
Rockville.
And who's your winner then? So you got a rematch. You can take yourself in the rematch.
They kicked the living shit out of me last year, and then I went and got Bunk Moreland, and although I had already agreed to that trade well before they kicked the shit out of me, I'm not picking against myself. I think it'll be closer, but I think Aaron probably still takes it.
All right. Well, I have you beating in dramatic fashion via Feliciano Raphael walking out of the hospital and onto the mound, taking you to the Landis. But I've got Jacksonville over Rockville and Jacksonville over you, largely because the way this works is that as Tyler is AWOL, his team will win the Landis. No exports. He'll just go all the way to the Landis, not exporting at all. Just win. And
here's the question. If he wins, that'll be his third Landis in the decade. Does that make him a dynasty?
Yes. But the real question is, if he wins, is it his Landis?
Well, he exported. He's exported. He did drop an export in there.
Well, one of the last 7.
True.
I don't know if you got this last one in. I'm sure he's just got something going on. He's busy.
Yeah.
I think we should wrap up here. We've run a little long. So thanks to everybody that listened. We got a little kind of off topic and rambly. That turned from like a brief surprises into a review of everyone's season. But I hope people that listened enjoyed. Thanks again to Randy for being here. And I hope that you adjust well to your life in Menomina.
Yes.